Good afternoon. It's an afternoon stream. Had a dentist appointment this morning. I'm gonna try to sit in a little different position here and hope that the sound is okay. Had a day off yesterday. I like to take one day off per week if I can. Sometimes I can't because of performances, but if I don't have a performance, I've taken Sunday off every week for, I don't know, over a year now. I generally like to do that because mostly the physical rest, right? Like I accumulate a decent amount of fatigue over the course of the week, and I want to make sure that I can recover. But the other reason, too, is mental. It's just nice to have a day off. And then when I come back today, I'm excited and ready to go. So I'm going to do my Chickowitz flow studies. Hey, Lemar. Hope that I said that right. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. So as always with the Chickowitz flow studies, my goal is to have a great first attack. I'm doing poo attacks. I always do poo attacks here, just to get used to keeping things forward, I guess. And then I'm trying to have the best possible sound on the very first note, and then I'm trying to maintain that note or maintain that sound with great connection. So that's my goals with the Chickowitz flow studies. The Yamaha trumpets are treating me very well. I like the B flat a lot. This horn, I like it a lot. I don't think it needs a lot of tweaks, if any. The C trumpet could be slightly more open. I mean, it feels really amazing. Just in the loud end, I want it to be a little bit more free blowing, if possible. But yeah, I haven't heard from Yamaha in a little bit, and so I'm kind of waiting on them to tell me what the prices are, so I can buy them. Like, I'm not a gearhead by any means, but it's incredible how much easier these horns are to play than my Bach horns. I did a bunch of tests on Instagram back and forth to try to see if people could tell the difference between the Yamaha and the Bach if they just heard the sound and they couldn't see me play. And a lot of people said that the sound was really kind of similar between the two of them, but this one's so much easier to play. It's just kind of a no-brainer. I do not know that maker. Where is that maker located? B flat at least. Yamaha, C, and shirts or pick. Yeah, I don't know Gottfried, that maker. The other two, Yamaha, obviously I know, and Schertzer, I've never played one of those picks, but everyone who plays them sounds really great on it, so I'd love to play one someday. Nice. That's awesome. Hey, AP, how do I play high notes without strain? Obviously, lots of practice. That's the obvious answer. The best thing I can say is that there's a few different components to it. I'll try to describe them to the best of my ability. The first component is that if you're straining, I assume you mean that you're pushing. That's usually what people mean. And so if you're pushing, it's just because the airstream is not supporting, right? So the first thing is to make sure that we understand that pretty much all trumpet playing needs to have a very supported and fast airstream. So when I work with people, I'll have them just do an air pattern of all of the streams for you to show up, Mikhailo. I'll have them do this. I'll go, or they'll do that, and then I'll do it. And then I'll try to get them to sound more like mine. And usually it helps energize the sound. And then from there, you're basically taking all of your attention and you're trying to make sure that it's, that you're maintaining that, right? So this feeling, if you do that on your side, you should be able to feel the air pass your lips. When you play the trumpet, you want to feel that same feeling. Right? So you want to have that same feeling. And then you just want to expand slowly. First, get it on like a G or something, right? Just on a... Like if you can do that without strain, then start, playing maybe a 5-note scale. Right, and then you're gradually expanding. This is pretty open-ended. It's hard to have structure with this because what you're trying to do is you're trying to find a reality, I guess, if you want to put it that way, where you're able to play that way, and then you're thinking, okay, now that I know how to play that way, I just need to apply it all the time. So I would do a lot of that kind of stuff, slowly expanding. First, get the airstream to be what you want it to be, nice and energized. Not or but like I'm barely working to do that, but it's fast. So you want to figure that out and then begin to apply it into the upper and the lower register. Limar is correct. We want to just, do a little bit each day in terms of your warm-up, this expanding kind of thing. And I mean, if it's really bad, you may want to take like a bunch of steps back and take like 2 weeks to just do only this kind of stuff for 30-ish minutes a day. Just really ironing in or imprinting that this is the way you want to do it. And then once you feel like you've got that habit, you can begin to expand into other exercises, depending on how bad the strain is that you're describing. So, also, Mikhailo, I think the shirt's too small at this point, and then also I think it's the camera does like a fish eye, so I think it makes the stuff in the middle look bigger. But yeah, you definitely want to go slow, but generally speaking, There's a few different steps. It's the keeping the air forward. We also want to make sure we're in the center, and we also want to make sure our sound is projected. I have a few videos on my YouTube channel. One is called 4 Steps to a Bigger, Fuller Sound. You can check that out. And then I have a video on, I don't remember the name of it, but the thumbnail says like Ping Ring Sing, I think. So. AP, I'm going to be around for this entire month. So if you mess around with this on one day and it's not feeling right and you have more questions, hop on another stream and we can keep chatting about it. How you doing, Mikhailo? Haven't heard from you in a while. How's the education going? Oh. Do you appreciate it any differently after having left for a little while? So I said this on a few different streams, but just to make sure for anyone who is here that didn't get to hear it before, when I'm doing the Chickowitz flow studies, I already stated what my goal was, but I'm definitely not. I mean, I want the sound to be good and all that kind of stuff. I want it to be my best sound, but I'm really thinking about this as stretching, and so I'm. This is what I would consider to be a warm up. Like, I want everything to be the best it possibly can, but really I'm just trying to get some blood flowing. And now, after I've done that, I'm going to move into doing my long tones, you know, with a lot of purpose and a specific goal. So, yeah, dude, it's interesting. It's interesting how that works. I feel like I've heard that story from a few different people, not exactly the same as yours, but people who have said, I did this thing. Like a friend of mine in the orchestra is a cellist. He was looking into trying to procure a space to open up a brewery because he really enjoyed brewing beer. But then the realization of what goes into that and how difficult it would be and how much time he would spend there and how much less time he'd have to spend playing, he was like, I actually realized that this is the thing that I for sure want to do. You know, I for sure want to play. And so it's kind of interesting how that works, how like some of those, you know, periods of wandering, if you want to call it that, where we leave music. I feel like I did that with lifting weights. I wanted to, you know, become a personal trainer and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if I'm back and like loving it, but I definitely have a renewed sense of purpose. All right, so we go tuner. Okay. So here's the Goal Method app. This is what I use to practice. I'm going to go click on June fundamentals. We made it on June 1st, so we're on day 5 here. So we're going to set our metronome at 72. And then over here, I tried to... Oh, you can't see that. All right, you can see that. So we're trying to get into the center of the pitch at 440. All right. Hopefully you can hear that metronome click. Yeah, I completely agree, Limar. I think it's just a story that lots of people have told. It's like we went into this. I don't know if maybe Mikhailo, you feel the same way as I do. Obviously, we went to school together and we were at a good school, and it was just like this was the thing we were doing because we were good at it. And I really enjoyed it. I especially loved playing with my friends. You know, I realize that now, like wanting to go into an orchestra. Part of it was like, oh, I really like doing this with my friends, but like a job isn't like that, you know? So that kind of was a bit of a culture shock. But yeah, kind of coming away from it and then realizing, okay, it's not just like this thing that I was doing because I was good, but I have an actual attachment to it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let me make it bigger so you can see the tuner easier. So I still hear that a little sharp. There I was a little flat. So I remembered that one was flat from last time I did it, like 4 days ago. I just take a little break here before I start climbing again. Adam, I will totally answer that question in about 3 minutes when I'm done doing these long tones. But I will definitely ask it. Just hang on for a second. And then IR5, I did study music in college. I went to Oklahoma City University for my undergrad, and I got a degree in a bachelor in music performance. And then my master's was at Northwestern, and a master's in music performance. If you want something to Adam for something to do while I'm playing, you said mine is currently really unfocused and brittle. Just answer me these questions. Are you aware if you drop your jaw or not as you go down? And then, is your low register sometimes consistent, or is it always a struggle? All right, cool, Adam. Yeah, I will. I'll get right to it. I have one more octave to go, and then I'll be there. Same thing for you, Alexander. I will happily answer your question. I guess I could easily answer it. Yeah, I generally play fairly legato when I'm warming up, just to keep ingraining as much airflow and connection as I can. Thanks, Joey. All right, that's good for that. All right, Adam. So typically people will drop their jaw. If you're saying you're not dropping your jaw, that's great. We want Barbara Butler, when I studied with her, I struggled. This is like a period in my life where I kind of struggle with consistency and low register as well. Barbara would talk about it as trying to stay in falsetto voice. So, you know, when we sing, we can have our chest voice, la, 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 la. But when we get to a certain range or tessitura, I can't go in here. La, 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 la. I can't even do it now because I can sing in falsetto, but... So la 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 la, and then we would switch to la 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 la. Right, we'd switch to falsetto. Barbara would describe our low register as needing to stay in falsetto. So the instead of dropping into chest voice, we're trying to stay up and focused. La 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 la, if that makes sense, right? So the way that we would practice it, exactly the way I just did it, I would start in a register where there's no issues whatsoever. Oh, hey Alexis. We would start in a register where it feels completely easy, and then we would focus on two things: keeping the sound exactly the same and keeping things forward. I did this on C trumpet last time. Right, so as we keep things forward, it allows us to have flexibility in and out of the low register. Like I almost feel like my lips are protruding into the mouthpiece. And if you talk to horn players who have to play in the extreme low register, they'll talk about this, but almost comical, where like they're playing instead of, sorry, it's like, right? This is it's a ridiculous analogy because we can't really do it on trumpet, but on horn, I've watched them play in the low register, and it's like almost a different set, and it's just really, really far forward, so there's still a point of focus. So that's how I would do it. And then as I got more comfortable just slurring down there, like this, as that felt better and better and better, I would add articulation. That will kind of help solidify what that note feels like when you're trying to start on it. Alexander brings up a great point about pedal tones. I don't practice pedal tones that much these days, but I used to practice them all the time. And these can be a really great tool to help reinforce this bringing it forward. Right, so to keep that sound that way, we got to bring it forward. So I spread in the lower register. My suggestion would be, again, without hearing you, it's very difficult to be super dialed in. So if I'm wrong or I'm not quite on, keep asking questions. But my best guess would be that your airstream is not fast enough. And so you're having to use sort of a wide column of air, and it's kind of moving slowly. So if you bring the column of air closer together and speed the air up, you have the same kind of support. Adam, I think I was saying I'm around a lot. I'm going to be trying to stream for all of June. So if you mess with this kind of stuff and it works, let me know. And if it doesn't work, let me know. And if it doesn't work and you figure out what works, also let me know. I'm trying to learn from all of you what actually works and what doesn't. So, yeah, Justin, just trying to make sure it's like I'll go from low to high with a air pattern. Like you can see, it's still forward the whole time. You're absolutely welcome, Adam. It's forward the whole time. And so that's my best guess. Again, not having heard you play, it's just like it's an air speed thing and trying to get the aperture more pointed, more, I don't want to say closed off because we can go too far and we can just reduce all airflow whatsoever. If that doesn't make sense, please keep asking questions so that I can help you. What's a common misconception or wrong way you see people use Chicowitz or long tones? I just think the biggest way we misuse it is to not understand why we're doing it. So I think a lot of people do Chicowitz or long tones and they just think, I'm just going to do this and I'll start to feel better and everything will work and all that kind of stuff. But like for Chicowitz, I don't know if you were here earlier, Joy, but for me, my goal is a great first articulation and then the best sound I can possibly make, and then trying to keep that sound as I slur throughout Chicowitz while having everything be smooth. So I have a few specific goals depending on, first articulation, first sound, the rest of it being smooth. Same thing with long tones. Like for right now, I'm doing long tones to test and to try to make sure I have the center of the pitch at 440 on this new instrument. That's where our orchestra plays, so I'm trying to get used to that. From there, I might use long tones to test loud and soft dynamics, or I might use it, again, I'm even using it to sort of build into some higher registers, to build some, some sets, I guess, if you want to call it that, like where is this note and can I, nail it, so you can use it to practice first attacks. But just doing it in and of itself isn't going to make anybody better, and I think that's where some frustration can come in because you don't know if you're actually getting better or not because there's no real specific goal attached to it. So that's the goal-oriented part of the gold method. Very thirsty right now. Okay, so now we have arpeggios at 71. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, this is great to talk about. I've mentioned it in some previous streams, but I'm happy to go over it again. Personally, I think of them as two separate things, and I subscribe to the Charlie Geyer method of warming up, which is as quickly as you need. So if you're especially beat up, maybe it takes you half an hour to get things going. If you feel great, maybe it takes you 10 or 15 minutes. I generally am never in a situation where I am going to over practice or in a concert that takes so much out of me that I'm just wrecked these days. At least I'm a pretty strong player. I've developed a lot of strength. So typically my warm-up will only take me 10 or 15 minutes to really, and all I'm trying to do is get some blood flowing, and I'm trying to stretch into some registers that I'm going to be using later. So mouthpiece buzzing and Chicowitz flow studies. If you go back and watch this stream or the other streams, it's always the same. And then I move after that immediately, if I feel ready, immediately into the gold method app, my routine that I've designed. And the key distinction for me between a warm-up and fundamentals routine is a warm-up is trying to help me move some blood and to feel better and to get ready for the work, just as if you were in the gym warming up. You might do some stretches, you might do some jumping jacks, you might, do some move, through some planes of motion and stuff like that to get some blood flowing. But then there's like a definite break, and then you move into your working sets. You move into the work that you're going to do. So that's kind of how I view it. It's like my warm-up, and then I move into this work where I have specific goals, and I'm focused on trying to improve those, and that's what I would consider fundamentals. I know everyone kind of lands in a different spot, so hopefully my description makes sense to you. Any kind of flexibility stuff would be good for embouchure elasticity. I'll go after I do this arpeggios. I'm gonna move into flexibility, and I can kind of talk to you about my approach to that. But I'm gonna get through this. So this is just, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this is one quarter note and then 3 beats rest, where I'll take the instrument off my face and then I'll bring it back on my face. And this is for me to have multiple opportunities to just set up playing the trumpet. So that's just me having opportunity to practice setting up and first do my first attacks, which for me, if I can get my first attack in the center of the pitch or pretty close to it, things usually I can kind of keep it going. But if I don't really nail the beginning of it, it takes me a second. And so I'm really just trying to solidify and make the way I release sound automatic. I show up for this every single day. I practice this every single day. It's that important to me. Like, I really believe, sorry to keep stopping, but part of this is me. It's interesting, like, when I'm practicing, it's so much easier for me to think about the things that I feel like are valuable, maybe, to hear. But when I'm just sitting down trying to brainstorm content ideas, it's, like, very difficult for me to actually think through, what it is that I want to say or what I think somebody might benefit from. So I really think that 99% of being consistent on the trumpet is knowing what to think about. It's like, do I know how to get the right sound in my head? Do I know how to breathe? Do I know what to focus on? Can I do that every single time? Like, your attention and your focus and where to direct it is everything. And so even though it may seem I'm just going through the motions of doing these articulation or these first attack exercises, I'm really, really thinking deeply about how I'm releasing sound and trying to do it the same each time, so that I really have a way, something to lean back on. If I miss some notes in a concert or something, I can lean back and say, okay, well, I do know how to do this because I've been successful, and it helps get me back on track. Yo, Jeff, I hope you're well. Thanks for stopping by. Alexander, thank you. Sometimes I feel like I'm ill-equipped to be able to help beginners, but I'm glad you feel like you're getting something out of it. Do you have to quarantine from your family, or did they get it too? I know this whatever this new variant is supposed to be twice as contagious as Omicron was, which is crazy to think about. So I'm sorry you have COVID, man. That does suck. Also, I'm sold on these Yamaha horns. I haven't heard from them in a while. I think they're backed up and pretty busy, but as soon as they let me, I'm going to buy these. How long have you been off of the trumpet? Are you going to have like a hill to climb when you come back? Hazel, let me do. I have two more of these arpeggio things, and then I'll give you my whatever I have to say. I'm no, yeah. Yeah, I mean the horns are expensive, but it seems like all horns are kind of expensive these days, and it got to a point where my horns, I felt like I was just fighting it. Like I really liked my Bach horns, but I felt like I was constantly fighting them. So how do we feel if I do this? Do we feel okay about that? Kind of like that. Hazel, here's my best advice. The first thing is you're going to school for music, studying at Shenandoah with Mary, I assume. And the best thing you can do is put yourself into a situation where you are in a good position to be ready to enter the working world in 4 years. And the best way I know how to do that is this Steve Martin quote called, to be so good that people can't ignore you. Sometimes I think we can get caught up in networking or going to all the conferences or doing the competitions or going to the right festivals. And all those things are really great. They're really great things. But the thing that's going to help you win a job or have a great freelancing career or a solo career is to have possess something that make people want to pay money for what you do. So the first advice I would have is to be able to do that, you're just going to need a process. I've been talking a lot about, not that you need this, but I've been talking a lot about my Gold Method app here. And that's like one example of a process I'm using to gradually just chip away at getting better and better and better so that I can become so good that people can't ignore me. And so you want to develop this, and obviously that's why you have a teacher. And so you're basically having this back and forth where you play for your teacher gives you feedback, and then you go into the practice room and you try to establish that, and you do the very best you can. You record yourself, all that kind of stuff. You just go through the process that everyone understands that you go through. It's just, I wouldn't get caught up in all the external things of proving anything to yourself or to anybody else. Rather, I would just be focused on doing the best work you can each and every day, and just trust that in 4 years, that's going to put you in a good position to succeed. And by success, I just mean be able to get you wherever your goals are, whether that's grad school or winning a job or whatever you particularly want to do. And then the next thing is I would really, if you have time, I would try to develop some other skill. So for me, I've developed, videography, and I have a podcast. Not that you have to do all these different things, but just like on the side, spend 1 hour a week learning some other skill. I just think that musicians should be multifaceted. And so I think the days are over where we can just get really good at our instrument and expect that that's going to guarantee us that we will be able to have some sort of great career. Of course it can. There's great orchestras, there's great military bands, there's great teaching jobs, but if you have other skills that you can leverage, you can kind of combine these skills and maybe even make your own way, I suppose. So if you look at someone like Mary Bowden, she's leveraged a lot of her skills as not only a trumpet player, but she understands the importance of marketing herself. She understands what goes into that whole thing. When I interviewed her, she talked about developing those skills while working in on a management position with the Richmond Symphony, and saw how soloists were doing that, and she tried to copy them and has developed those skills. She's developed skills of organization, all those types of things, and it serves her very well at being able to maintain and grow her solo career. So those two things: become so good that no one can ignore you, and that's going to be as the result of applying a process and doing the best work you can and not trying to prove anything. And then spend 1 hour per week, or maybe a Saturday spend 2 hours or something, some amount of time, just gradually inching closer towards developing another skill. Hopefully that is some advice. Do I ever practice if my lip hurts? It depends on what you mean by hurt. If I feel like I'm physically going to injure myself, no. If I'm a little bit beat up, but I can still sort of play and I'm not worried about injuring myself, yeah, I'll probably practice. But I'm rarely in that boat because I rarely over practice these days. So okay. So we're going to open June recordings. Okay. So we have 2 violins, 2 Clarks, 2 articulation, and 2. So I think violin page 16, number 14. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, at 70, and then 29, 30, 90. 29, 30, 90. Violin, page 29, number 30 at 90. And this will be Clark 4 odds at... I'm just going to type in some of these real quick because it goes faster later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, no, we want 1, 2, 3. So 75 and then 83. 75, Clark 5 odds, 83. Okay. So, long time ago, Alexander was asking about flexibility and lip elasticity. And I use these types of things to practice that. And so the goal here is to blow straight down the middle and then let this just move where it needs to. So the sound you're trying to create will guide it, right? You're not like manipulating and trying to aim like a mathematical equation. But there are two technical components. You got to play in the center of the pitch, and the air has to be straight and consistent. So if you can do those two things, then it's just getting used to where that is. Sure, Hazel. No problem. So here's what I mean. So hopefully, you can hear. I don't put too much stock in not being absolutely perfect, I suppose, with the final parts of these exercises because you don't play with those alternate fingerings very often. So Alexander, if this is what you meant by elasticity, in terms of being able to move around the instrument, those two things, and hopefully you could hear me kind of demonstrate it. If you're not able to do what I just did, you can still do it on things like... Right, you're trying to keep the sound the same. You're trying to play from the center of one pitch to the other and make sure that the air is not... the air doesn't move, so to speak. All right, 90. So I like to practice that one because I like practicing octaves. And then I chose this one because it's challenging. It kind of worked even though I didn't keep it connected. Trying to keep everything forward here. Everything forward. So I'm not, it's forward, my head's not moving up and down like this, and I'm not moving the instrument around, but all the movement's happening here. It's difficult. It was pretty good for a little while. It gets harder. For whatever reason, it gets harder as it gets lower for me. All right. So now I can just move on. I don't have to type that in. We hit that. So Clark 4 odds. That's Saxa. Clark 4 odds. Okay. So I say this each time. This is a bit of a long go through. So settle in, grab some popcorn. I'm doing everything in my power to keep it as smooth as possible. Okay. Hey, Justin. What I do for that, there's two different things I'm doing like right now currently, and you can go back and check previous streams or the replay of this one when I'm finished with it. But basically, I will turn on a tuner rather, and I will sort of close my eyes or look away from the tuner, and I will play, and I will try to get it to a place where I think this sound is in tune. And then I'll look back at the tuner, and if the tuner says I'm sharp, that means I hear that pitch sharp. And if it's flat, that means I hear that pitch flat. And if it's in tune, that means I hear that pitch in tune. And so to be able to improve on intonation, we have to improve the way we hear or what we're hearing. And so that's a good way to do it. And another way I'm doing it, and again, you can see this on previous streams, I'm playing with a drone with a third and then a major 10th above it. And then I'm just trying to play right where the chords are locking in so I can get used to what it sounds like playing in tune with others, so to speak. Wasn't as good as it could have been. I messed that up because I was thinking about the framing of my camera and feeling like I'm too far off to the side. It's F major. I shouldn't be messing that up. Also, Justin, when I'm done with this, if you're still here, when I'm done with this, I will also I'll share an exercise that I have used when teaching to help people get into the center of the pitch a little bit more easily. I need to make a video, like an official video on this, but hopefully this will do. right, stop that. So Justin, playing in the center of the pitch. So sometimes when people talk about intonation, hang on, we'll do it like this. I feel like I'm a little wide, right? Like, it doesn't feel like I'm in a 16 by 9 frame here. All right, that's good enough. Okay. So when people talk about intonation, a lot of times what you'll see people do is they'll see that they play sharp. And they're like, okay, that's sharp, so I need to pull my slide out. So you'll see some people playing with their slides like this far out, right? And then they'll go. And the tuner will say, okay, like you're in tune. But obviously the sound is still not great. The problem is a lot of intonation and a lot of sound quality doesn't really have to do with intonation in and of itself, but rather the part of the pitch we're in, the set, trying to be in the center of the sound. And so this exercise that I've developed, you basically start sharp purposefully, and you bend down to the center of the pitch, and then actually past the center of the pitch where it'll sound kind of flat, and then you bend back up, and you'll be in the center of the pitch. Right? So you want to do this with your air. You're not dropping your jaw, but rather the focus of your aperture is bending down in this note. And you'll hear, like I said, you'll hear it go flat, and then you'll hear the sound ring. You'll hear the room ring a little bit, right? This exercise, this is like a sound that you can create. You just need to start listening for and trying to create that sound. I'll do it one more time. I even pulled out the tuner just to make sure. But where I landed was right smack dab in the center of the pitch. You can hear it because it has, when we play sharp, we have the highs, so it sounds kind of brilliant. Or sorry, it kind of sounds bright, but we don't have the lows, so that's how we get kind of a brittle sound sometimes. When we play flat, we don't have the highs and we have the lows, so it's a thick sound, but it just kind of sounds like And then when we play in the middle, we have the highs and the lows. So it's a full sound and it has the highs. And so that's what I would describe as a brilliant sound. All right. Hope that helps. So now we're going to go to Clark and we have the odds here. Sorry. All Okay, I have one more. It's not feeling amazing. Let's see what happens. It's like the E at the beginning of the practice session was fine. This one can't do. Maybe someday. It's really great because on stream I can't edit that out right now. So however many people, all 5 people here, just heard me sound like that. Maybe someday I'll sound like Alan Vizzuti. Probably not, though. All right, what do we got? Saxa 41 at 84. Saxa 41 at 84. Saxa 71 at 80. Saxa 71 at 80. And then 156.6 at 110. Arbin, page 156, number 6 at 110. And Arbin, page 166, number 47 at 84. Arbin, page 166, number 47 at, I forgot, 84. 84. Okay. Okay. All right. Hello. Okay. So we're at 84. All right, I'm pretty sure my thing said to do this 3 times. So we're going to let myself off the hook. If I can play really well the first time, I'm only going to play this twice. If I can't play really well the first time, I'm going to have to play it all 3 times. So that should be motivation to focus. All right, I got to make it a little smaller. All right, I'll move it when it's time. I'm going to play this in F. Or up a 4th. You bet, Demetrius. Thanks for the encouragement. Not going so well. Oh dear. It's so slow. Ryan, why are you playing this so slowly? Well, let me tell you. The reason I'm playing it so slowly is because I'm trying to get it to be perfect, which I'm not necessarily succeeding at right now. But also, I think there is just a lot to be said for taking, the tempo I want to go is da 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 da. When I play it this slowly, I get to find out which parts I'm already capable of playing and which parts do I need to direct my focus to. It's a way that I use to separate the things I struggle with from the things that I don't immediately. So I'm going to play this one more time, and if I can do it really well... Oh, I should stop my recording. If I can do it really well... I mean, I already know what I sound like. I'm just missing notes. I've recorded myself a whole bunch. I'm just tired of... Okay. One more time. What I'm struggling with is just... It's like playing in the center of the notes when it's soft, low. That was a lot better. And I think the reason it was better is because I just thought further away. Like sometimes in my office, and I'm sure this happens to lots of you out there who are practicing in small rooms staring at a stand that it's easy to forget to project, basically. It's easy to forget to follow through. So everything becomes kind of this like, that, instead of da. And so that was the fix for me, was just I assumed that the problem I was having was just not really blowing through everything enough. And so I just moved the point of thinking, where is my sound happening? Where is it traveling from here to a little further away? And that helped. All right, 80. All right, I'm not sure if I can get this whole thing on there. You'll figure it out. Sorry. That's fast repetition, so I don't 100% expect it to go perfectly. You want to listen to some of it? Yeah. All right. Take it easy. Take it easy. It's not bad. There's some non-great. How would you say that? Some imperfect, sort of attacks where it's a little like I'm sliding into it. Something to focus on in future practice sessions. But for now, we move on. So hit that. So for triple tonguing, we separate the fast tonguing work from the slow tonguing work. Rather, the fast tonguing work from the sort of finger, the difficult finger. So basically, it's not moving around much, so I can focus on going fast. We're going at 110 today. And then the other exercise works on coordinating my fingers and my tongue. All right, I think we have to play this twice. Yep. Okay. Getting a little frustrated. It's funny because I basically get frustrated. I'm sure everybody else can identify with this. I seem to just get frustrated when I can't immediately play exactly the way I want to play. And I think to some degree it's not a bad thing. Let me finish this second one here. It's better, yeah. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing to have high standards for your playing. At all. I mean, we should all have high standards. We should all want to be the very best we can be. So I think it's okay to get frustrated in your practice sessions sometimes. I don't think we have to be even keel all the time. What I think we need to be able to do is say, okay, I had a sort of frustrating practice session today, but I still did a lot of good stuff. Like, I'm frustrated because my quality is not 100%, it's 90%, as opposed to I'm frustrated because I can't play anything. Hopefully that difference makes sense. Let's see where I'm at. So we complete the day. Now day 5 is complete. Good. And then we go to Beach 18. So we're on week 2, day 9. Obviously, I missed a whole bunch of recordings in the middle there, as you can see. We have 8 today. 8 sections. Yep. Okay, so the way that I do this, I've made videos on this before, but just for it to be super obvious, or clear, rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The way that I do this is I will record the first and the fourth repetition of everything, and I'm just aiming to diagnose with the first repetition where my focus needs to be. 75, 86. So And then I want to hear some sort of improvement on repetition 4. So we want, so day 9, section 3, repetition 1 at 75. Day 9, section 3, repetition 4 at 86. Day 9, section 4, repetition 1 at 75. Day 9, section 4, repetition 4 at 86. Day 9, section 5, repetition 1 at 75. Day 9, section 5, repetition 4 at 86. Day 9, section 6, repetition 1 at 75. Day 9, section 6, repetition 4 at 86. Do we have one more? All right, we did well. Okay. So in the past few practice days, what I've noticed is when I first started working on this tune, or this, not even really I first started doing it, just one of the things I was struggling with was getting it to be separate enough. I was going daga 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 daga, and well, what we want is taka 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 taka. So that's mostly what I'm listening for, to make sure I'm still doing that correctly, and then usually some intonation related stuff will be thrown in there as well. Okay, so well, that's what that sounds like if you forget to solo the track. Okay. So okay. So 75. All right, we are right here, and we're going to right there. I'm going to do a mental rehearsal of this because this section's hard. Mental rehearsal is fingering along, making an embouchure, doing an air pattern, and really trying to mentally have the air pattern follow the line. Well, that didn't go very well, but that's okay. We're still learning. What did we learn? Let's listen to it. Also, that mental rehearsal just must not have helped me at all. Okay, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought. It wasn't incredible. Stop it. It wasn't incredible. But so I'm going to do a mental rehearsal of every repetition here. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to slow this down again. whatever reason, that high B is difficult for me. Yeah, this is like what's the only thing I don't like about this horn is the upper register feels like it's not quite as free blowing as the rest of it. That's okay. We'll make it work. Okay. So, I mean, this is like, I don't even know how to describe what's going on here, but it may just seem like I just played it and played it and played it and slowed this thing down, but everything had a specific purpose. And maybe I'm just working at hyper. I don't know if I'm working quickly or not, but I mentally rehearsed the first thing and then recorded it to see where I was at. I could tell that, okay, leading up to this B, I still don't understand it. Also, the beginning of it wasn't great. So I slowed it down to sort of groove a little bit of a pattern that I was going to focus on both things. And then when I played the full repetition, it was great. So I moved on, and I played the full repetition and it was better. And so I moved on. So basically, the way I'm using this Gold Method app here is that each one of these repetitions is a test for me. And in between the repetitions is where I do mental rehearsal, or I'll slow things down, or some people like to change rhythm, some people like to change articulations. There's all sorts of different ways that you can do it. But that's kind of what I was doing there. So I'm just trying to learn as quickly as possible what I don't know. Now, if we compare that to the first repetition, it will be significantly better. Guaranteed. But let's check it out. Okay. So that is improvement. I've heard. Okay, like in that 3 minutes that I practiced, I made that much improvement. Now, all I needed to do was just reframe what I was hearing in my head. I'm capable of playing that. I just wasn't focused or didn't know what to focus on. Hopefully that makes sense. If anybody has any questions, as always, questions are appreciated and welcome. So section 4 is here to there. It's almost there. I just don't know it, you know. As I've been working on this for a few weeks, and it's still evident that I just don't quite know it. But that's okay, because that's why we're practicing. I'm learning. Honestly, not really as much as I should, Joey. I mean, I don't listen to music that often in general. And music that inspires me is sometimes classical music, but there's some prog rock bands that I'm really into that inspire me with, because it's very symphonic in nature. It's just, different instrumentation. But yeah, I don't think I listen nearly as much as maybe I should. I don't really like that word should, but yeah, that's where we're at. Oops. We don't want Google Chrome. And that is definitely better. So it's like it's just motivating to me to practice this way, because, if you have this kind of setup on a computer, which is not hard to do, you can use something like GarageBand on a Mac or Audacity, and then just get yourself, if you don't want to get a mic like mine, even though mine's not that expensive, $300 is not that expensive in the grand scheme of microphones. And then you just set it up like this. It just takes no time at all to get feedback. And then I can just go. And I can hear that is indeed better than it was before. So hopefully I can just pick back up there next time. That's the goal anyway. All right, section 5, right there to right there. I don't think I'm going to do a mental rehearsal of this. That section I remember pretty decently. I'm just gonna listen to it real quick, but I think I'm pretty happy with that. So obviously, as you know at this stage, Joey, if you're still here, this is the kind of work that I imagine doing on the app, on the program for excerpts, except you may not record every single repetition, or you may not record, maybe you just record the first one to know where to draw your attention on each individual practice session, and then you're just sort of using each repetition to gradually refine and whatever particular aspect you heard in that recording. And so over the course of time, you're refining certain things, and then you're hearing deeper details, and then you're refining those things and hearing deeper details. So this is like basically the exact process I would go through on one of my programs. Yo, Patrick, how are you, man? Just practicing a little beesh. Oliverio Studios here. My friend Patrick Oliverio, he's the reason he helped me buy microphones and understand how to use them and all that kind of stuff. So I'm deeply indebted to him for a lot of his help and advice. Bruh. Well, we can hang for a little bit longer. I probably maybe another 10 minutes of streaming left. I would call that improvement. And like again, just to stress, especially with the gold method approach and writing these programs, is this a completed work or is this a completed work? Not necessarily. Although I think I would be pretty happy with that take if I could do it at the tempo that I want to do it at. The point is not that it's a completed work. The point is that there's progress happening, and I'm slowly using the process to inch toward getting better and getting to the result that I want. So it's not like I have to prove to myself that I can do it or today's practice session was a waste. Rather, I have an image in my head of what I want, and I can see that I'm slowly using the process to get closer to that. All right. Right here to right here. And we know from our previous practice sessions that I need to support here going up to the B flat, and I got to make sure that this F is not too sharp. Oops. All right, let's listen to that. I think that was pretty good. That was, yeah. Those last two, bup, that was a little sharp there, so. Thanks, man. I sat on this etude for a long time because I had work again and I couldn't just learn Biche etudes. So I'm trying to finish this project up. As we come to the close or the conclusion of this practice session, if there's any final questions that anybody is interested in asking, ask away. If not, that's cool too, but that's part of why I'm here. Yo, what's up, Ducks? It's been a while. That would be really cool. I would definitely tune into that just to see kind of how you do EQ and put it all together. Would you say the equipment questions are very difficult. I mean, the simple answer is yes, it can be, but also there's no substitute, especially if you're talking. Well, it depends on what level of marching band you're talking about, but and the high school level, yes, it can be something that can help you get some of the high notes, but it's also not a substitute for developing your upper register. And I think a lot of people will say, of course I want to develop my upper register, but also if we, like trumpet players in general seem to think, well, if I get this equipment and it makes it easier to do this, then I no longer struggle with that. But you need to sort of build an understanding of how the upper register works. So the short answer is, although I don't know that particular model, it's probably in that same vein of a Schuke 14A, 4A, 14B, 4, I imagine it's in that same vein. All right, last repetition here, so we'll record it. Sure, Alan, no problem. I hope it was helpful. Yeah, Joey, this is like a Chris Smith question, right? I don't know. What's a good to ease you into Bish? Because it's like there's no easing in, you know what I mean? There's etude books like, Goldman, which are relatively tonally relatively simple, and then you would have something like Poder, which is a little bit more active, and then you have something like Top Tones, which is like tonal. All of it makes sense. They're just long and they're difficult to get through, and then you have something like Charlier, which is a little bit more musical. Obviously, they're like musical pieces, and so, but they're still tonal. And then you have Bish, which is just like all over the place and kind of nasty. So, maybe that progression that I just named, but this isn't something I've totally studied and put a ton of thought into. Like I said, I actually want to do a YouTube video with Chris Smith. I've talked to him about it already. I talked to him way back in December. It just hasn't happened. I want to do one with him or on his etude project to see what he would recommend for sort of beginner, intermediate, advanced, or maybe I haven't figured out the structure, or maybe just a progression. Yeah, right. I forgot about those etudes, the Veneto Bosch. Those are actually really good ones that are kind of right in the middle. They're accessible, but they kind of begin to bend, tonality a little bit. That's very true. Thank you, Computer Dynamo. All right, we're going to play this whole etude at 92. So I tried to do this, I don't know how many days ago. I don't even know if it was on stream. Maybe it was. And I tried to do it at 90, and it didn't go well. So I just finished playing all these sections at 86, feeling pretty good. So let's see what happens at 92. All right, not bad. Definitely made some progress on it in the, let's see. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on it in the 9 days I've been practicing it. So I have a few more days left. I don't even remember what. Yeah, I put the goal tempo at 100. The etude is written at 120. I just played it at 92. Like that, what I just played was 30 clicks under the goal tempo, or under the written tempo rather. So there's that. I'm gonna stick around for another few seconds for any final questions, but if not, don't fret. I'll be back tomorrow. All right. I so appreciate everyone for being here and asking such great questions and being supportive of the streams. I'm doing my best to make them as interesting as possible. So we will see you again tomorrow.